know that first quarter clearance count, I guess that set the time for us, doesn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, we were really poor. Centre bounce, or centre square, plus stoppages. I don't know what it was in the first quarter, something unbelievable. Just got smashed, so.
It might be a silly question. Is it a sort of a residual effect of the way Collingwood ran amok last week when you look like you're going all right, so you're taking sort of a funny mindset into the... I don't know.
Well, I mean, who knows? I mean, it was we played so well for so long against Collingwood that the last quarter was disastrous. And we sort of followed up our performance last week in Adelaide, which was poor. I thought at least today we showed some fight, to stay in the game to a certain extent, as in not going to get blown away by 15, 16 goals. But we need to do a lot of work at our stoppages and our midfield in general. Our capacity, when we got it into our forward line, we only went in 31, 32 times or something, but when we went in, I mean, we scored over 50% of the time, 30% accuracy rate, so highly efficient when we went in. But no, to go in, we just couldn't get any volume, which, we've got to look at what we're doing in the midfield.
In quarter time, is that as disappointing as you've been this year, given the performance last week? Expected response?
Well, we expected a lot better than that. Actually, it was very surprising to, with the stoppage work in particular. So, and the guys I thought prepared really well during the week. So the direct answer to your question is we were really disappointed in that quarter time.
It's been an ongoing issue, Neil, the clearances in recent weeks. Not identify exactly what the issue is, or just can't fix it at the moment?
We just can't fix it, Andrew, at the moment. We had a real good look at it after the Gold Coast game. Even though we won that game, there was, once again, I think it was, from a differential 20 or something in that range. So we've got to put a lot more resource into it, and we will do that because it's hurting us badly. It's producing too much pressure all over the grounds, making us be super efficient in the forward line, which we were today, even though we couldn't get a result. And clearly, the centre bounce stuff is just putting too much pressure on our back line.
You've spoken a lot about how you've got a lot of kids and you're going to get that inconsistency just because you're rebuilding your team. Do you have some players who just at the moment aren't ready for AFL, because of the injuries you've got, but just shouldn't be?
The answer to that, Roger, is that it's because of the way we're playing, and maybe the number that we've got. Some of them look like they're not ready for it. You put those same players, and let's not worry about names, but put those same players in a side that's up and running and got some more experience around it, and you'd probably say, they're pretty capable. Okay, and that's what we're going through at the moment. That's why we've got to just keep strong with what we're doing. And look, guys, I thought they, as a team, as distinct from last week, as a team, I thought they held their spirit today to at least keep fighting on the ground and. We never looked like we were going to win because we couldn't get any fluency with the ball. I mean, it was just a matter of we might win one and just bang it forward and tip it, we'd take a catch, and so there was no real powerful movement of our ball movement. So that's where we're at with that.
Yeah, I think we were calculating it this week. I mean, you can play another 25 games. It really does almost assure you some short-term pain, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, and we're getting it, but we've got to be really careful of as a club is be really diligent in our assessment of what we're doing. We understand that, I understand exactly what you're talking about there, and there's a fine line between being really demanding in areas of game, irrespective of whether you played 10 games or 150 games, versus what you give because of the statistic. And that's my job to be very clear with our group on that. Last week I didn't like their fight at all. This week they kept their spirit. So last week is just not on. Whereas this week I saw some fight and some effort to try and stay in the game when we used some different structures.
Where to now for the group? It's like back to 14th spot.
Yep.
What's the view going forward now?
Well,
do you feel like you're at, and what's?
Well, we're a fair way from where we want to be. Obviously, Andrew. Obviously, we're a fair way. In this competition, you have no choice. Like, we've got a game coming around in 6 days for us, and that's the reality of it. So we've got to regroup, do whatever work we can in a week, in a short week, and obviously you can't do a lot. So if you're trying to fix some areas, the volume of time that you can spend to try and fix that becomes minimal. So that's why we've got to make sure that we keep our competitive spirit, because if you lose that, you've got nothing. You've got nothing.
Is the final still very much part of the plan?
Finals is always part of our planning, and you always got to pull back to finals, what it looks like and the quality of football that you have to play in finals. But Andrew, clearly, we are so far away from playing finals type footy, or footy good enough to string enough games together. That's the last thing we're talking about as a footy club.
Back at the clearances, is it mainly structural? Is there a mindset thing there that your guys just aren't hunting the footy?
Yeah, not sure. We need to spend a lot of time on it. Okay, because with the players we've got in there, Thompson, Douglas, Vince, Van Berlo, Dangerfield, Sloan. I'd have a real debate if anyone questioned their capacity to win a hard footy and their attitude. So we probably just need to look at some of the structural things that we're doing.
Yeah, how are you holding up? Obviously, a bit more heat on yourself now. How are you holding up all the pressure?
No. I mean, I said during the week, Andrew, that I've never enjoyed it more. Now, what I mean by that is that this is a huge challenge for our footy club with the squad that we've got to build it, and to build it as quickly as we possibly can. So we give our supporters some short-term enjoyment if we can, but also looking to the future of what it can be like, down the track. So we always keep our eye on the dual purpose of what we're trying to do there. So that's the reason I say it. So these sort of days, and last week, and to a certain extent, these sort of days just increase the resolve.
Yeah, and you obviously down the track, you're pretty confident there's some bright future ahead for the club on the field.
Yeah, I mean, our supporters at the moment would say, "Well, how can you say that, Neil? Because they can only believe what they see." All right. But I'm still really confident with this group, Andrew, that it'll end up being a very good group. We've seen signs early in the year. Certainly in the last 2 weeks, you'd have to say, well, we haven't seen that. But I've seen enough. We've just got to get the consistency. We've actually got to build some trust with our supporters, so we don't get this up and down and all over the shop. And trust is only built by the quality of your play week in, week out, and clearly at the moment, as a footy team, we can't be trusted to play good footy week after week after week.
You fear though, at all, Neil, if you get a few more performances like the last couple of weeks, you won't get the opportunity to bring this group yourself?
As in for myself?
Yeah.
Once again, that won't be for me to decide, will it? I don't make decisions on it. I mean, I've got to have an involvement in it, because if I didn't want to do it, I'd have a responsibility to say, well, I shouldn't be doing this because I don't want to do it. Clearly, you've heard here that I'm keen to continue, but in the end, it's Ross Lyon made a great statement a few weeks ago. The board appoints coaches as they should. All I can say at the moment, the board's I've only offered me support. Now that support's not unconditional, guys. Okay, I haven't got a lifetime membership to coach the Adelaide Footy Club. Clearly, I haven't got that, and I don't expect to have it. But they'll make good decisions. Okay, and it's important I make good decisions as well. Is that answer? Yep.
Did you view Richard Douglas's collision with McMillan the first quarter just as being two guys going at the footy?
I think so, Andrew. I haven't had a close look at it at the moment. I don't know. I was looking at that. Didn't show it on the replay from where I was sitting, so I haven't had a good look at it.
In the young playing side, how difficult is it to keep them up week in, week out? Do they bounce back faster than older players, or is there potential for them to get a losing culture about them?
Well, not so much a culture. It's always a challenge. No matter what the state of your squad or team, if you're not playing good footy, that's always a challenge. From a leadership point of view, to keep the spirit. At the moment, the spirit aspect of our game hasn't been an issue for me. Okay, even now, they're obviously very disappointed in their performance. But that's because if your spirit goes, you got nothing, and so that's a major situation that I've got to make sure stays there as long as we can. No, I don't think so.
Thanks, mate.
Okay, thanks guys. Okay.